The old man, in a young voice, speaking, speaking to himself that he was waiting for rain. Eliot was a Puritan by Christianity. When we think about Puritan, we have to think about Milton, because Milton was the greatest Puritans. Puritans are very orthodox in their belief of Christianity. They are not, they will not make them free. They are very orthodox, conservative in their thinking. Even though it is religious thinking, they are very conservative. So Eliot was a sort of Puritan in his thoughts. But Milton's Puritanism and Eliot's Puritanism is very different, because the circumstances of Milton and Eliot were different. Friends, you know that Milton was blind. So that physical problem of Milton, his blindness, made him true Christian and true Puritan also. And here the hernia problem of Eliot and the failed marriage, failure of first marriage. Of course, Eliot remarried. Second time he married one lady. But that the disturbance of that first marriage created his most of the works. The Wasteland, the J. Alfred Prufrock, that poetry, they all belong to that particular problems of Eliot. So here Gerontion is living in a decayed house, in a dry place, and he is waiting for rain, because it is dry place, it is decayed house. So that dryness, that decayed house, and it gives resemblance to Eliot's own problems. Because in Eliot's mind or in Eliot's body, nothing has left. Because in Christianity, there are two trends. Some believe that our body is full of sin. So the Jew or the Christ can save us from that sins, from that problems. We have to go to the Christ for salvation. Now Eliot goes ahead in the poem. Gerontion. Signs are taken for wonders, we would see a sign. Sign means some writing. When we think about writing with our wishes or our mind or our feelings, we have to think about structuralism. Here, the word in a word, unable to speak a word. Here, Gerontion can't speak anything because nothing has left to speak. Word within a word. And the word within a word can't speak anything, because that word is not free to speak anything. By feelings, the word has stopped. His life has stopped. Came Christ the tiger. Now we know that Eliot was, he served in the church also, and he was interested in church life also. Due to his hernia problem and due to his problematic life and due to his failure in married life. So here came Christ the tiger. The Christ comes in the form of tiger, in depraved May, dogwood and chosen flowering Judas, to be eaten, to be divided, to be drunk. Among whispers by Mr. Silvio, then Eliot goes ahead with far-fetched imagery and some unbelievable problems due to the problems of his own life. Now, the female part of the female interest of Eliot comes when because Eliot is not interested in sexual life or female life, because he was not given any happiness in his married life. So that female part of Eliot comes in his poem, that usually what female do, they arrange the house, they arrange the kitchen, they prepare the food, they serve the food, they make the food. So now the word comes here, madam, the reference of madam. So the reference of femininity starts here. Madam in the dark room shifting the candles. Now madam is preparing the room, decorating the room, preparing for dinner. Who turn in the hall and one hand on the door and vacant shuttles. I have no ghosts, an old man in a draughty house under a windy knob. Now there is no ghost. Ghost, friends. A ghost is a symbol of pain in the darkness or worry in the darkness, because generally we are afraid at night by the thinking of ghost. But here Gerontion is so much disturbed that he has got nothing to worry or no worry about the ghost. Even it is very dark night, the decayed house, the dry days and the dry nights, right? Everything is dry because the mind of the poet or the thinking of the poet, the process of mental psychology of the poet is dry, without any fertility. So there is no rain. The poet is waiting, Gerontion is waiting for rain. It is very dry, dry days, dry nights. Even if it is decayed house and dry night is passing by, no worry about ghost, because the life itself is failure. There is no pleasure, no enjoyment. Then what will happen by the ghosts? No worry of ghost. Now this intelligent poet Eliot, the modernism and the poetry of Eliot. He is a Nobel Prize winner writer, the poet. History. Now he comes to history. What is history? If we want to give the definition of history, what will you say? History means past. History means past dates. History means everything is over. If we think just now it is 2017 is going on. If we think about 1950 or 1922, the period of Gandhiji or the period of independence, it is history. Maybe everything was true, we know. But that was history. Now here Gerontion, the thinking of Gerontion, how he looks at history. What he says, history has many cunning passages. Wow, what a great line. This is very interesting line. The typical modernism is going on in the poetry of Eliot. This talent made Ezra Pound to publish most of the poetry of Eliot. History has many cunning passages, contrived corridors, and issues deceives with whispering ambitions. Many issues are there, but that all issues are deceivers. They deceive us. One issue, second issue, third issue, fourth issue, this, that, they all are deceivers. They are cheating us. Nothing true in it. Whispering ambitions guides us by vanities. So, cheating, deceiving, vanities, and cunning passages. So, excellent definition of history. But I think only Eliot can describe history in this way. Friends, again I repeat, I like these lines very much. History has many cunning passages, contrived corridors, and issues deceiving with whispers, ambitions, guides by the vanities. Think now, she gives when our attention is distracted. And what she gives? She gives with such supple confusions. To understand history is not easy because history is dead. You are in 2017, friends. We are sitting in 2017. And how can we understand that past history of 200 years or 500 years? How can that history be true in our mind? How can we locate the truthfulness of that history? That Ram was there, or Sita was there, or Krishna was there. Well, this is my thinking. The thinking of Eliot is different. So how can we believe that Ram was there, it was fact. Krishna was there, it was fact. Now the interesting part of love and sex in Eliot is coming. Now, Gerontion is a very old man, but young by heart, but he is not fit for intimate relationship. What he says, to lose beauty in terror, terror in inquisition, I have lost my passion. No more passion, nothing left in him. Why should I need to keep it? I have lost my sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. When we think about sex or ras in Sanskrit, what we said? Shabda, spars, gandh, roop, ras, five tastes. So here Gerontion has lost everything. My sight, smell, hearing, taste, touch. I have lost everything. Nothing remains. No chance of any intimate relationship. Because he is old man, a young old man. But he has lost his heart for any romance. Nothing left in his. He has no feelings now, no affection, no love, no romance, nothing. He has lost all tastes of life. So, in the end, it is a great line of the poem, but very difficult to understand. What Gerontion says, or Eliot says, tenants of the house, thoughts of a dry brain in a dry season. Tenants of the house. I am living in a rented house. That Gerontion is living in a rented house. Dry month, dry thought, no rain, no birth. Now the poet Gerontion is interested in rebirth. So for rebirth, he has to die. And he is ready to die. If he dies, then he can have the rebirth. So tenants of the house, thoughts of a dry brain in a dry season. What we have passed through this poem were thoughts of a dry brain in a dry house, in a dry atmosphere. Everything was dry because nothing left, nothing green left, nothing wet left. No water is there, no life is there. Water means life. That's why